Hello and welcome to Yoga with Glenn. I'm Glenn. Today I have a nice, easy, very chill restorative yoga session for you. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hop in some comfy clothes, hop on your mat. I do suggest blocks if you don't have a yoga block, maybe a book. Also suggest a blanket and a bolster. If you have those things, grab them. A pillow will work. Any kind of blanket will do. Let's get started. Let's begin this restorative session with a recline supported bound ankle pose. So it's quite a little bit of elaborate setup, but if you have those blocks, grab a block, set one up like this, maybe a little taller if you want it. I like it just like that. A blanket for you to rest on, and then just rest your bolster or pillow just so over these blocks, and this blanket's just for your bottom. And you're going to bring your lower back right to the edge of this bolster. Set yourself up nicely. And of course, if you don't quite get it right the first time, you can always just take your time, really set it up. Bring the soles of the feet to touch, let the knees splay open, let gravity do the work there. Your arms, try to bring the shoulder blades together. Really have some openness in the chest here, and just let the arms just hang out beside you. You can move the heels closer or further away from yourself, or just right in the middle. Just find a nice comfy position with those. And as you breathe in, just really sink into your props. Nice deep inhales. Nice easy exhales. During these restorative sessions, it's really good to just breathe into these. This one's quite an easy one in the body, but when we're twisting, we're folding, using your breath will take you through. Try to start with a 4 count in the breath, 4-second inhale, 4-second exhale. In through the nose, out through the mouth, or out through the nose, wherever you prefer here. If you like, you can elongate the breath even more. Those 5 seconds, 6 seconds, maybe even up to 9, 10. Just really slow, deep breaths, filling the belly, ribs, up to the chest. And then as you exhale, feel the chest fall, ribs, and then feel the belly come back in. We'll be here for a few more breaths, so if there's something not quite comfortable with your setup, feel free to change something. I have my bolster at a very easy incline, but if you like to remove a prop from under your bolster to lay it back even further, of course you may do so. Or if you want to prop yourself up even further, you can do that as well. I'll leave you with some time for silence. Maybe count the seconds of your breath. Just really sink in. you've drifted off somewhere, come back to your breath. And we'll begin to make our way out of this posture. So since we've been here for some time, we don't just want to hop up and out. Bring the hands, collect your knees back together slowly. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. And if you need to shift your hips over, do so, but we're going to roll off of our props nice and slow. You can push them off to the side for now. Give yourself some room. You just don't want to prop yourself up back to seated too quickly. Get these props away from me. Be here in a nice kind of fetal posture, recovery posture. And whenever you're ready, you feel like your nervous system is caught up. Press yourself up to a seat facing the front of your mats. I'm actually going to use a blanket here for this next posture. We're going to go into just a seated forward fold, legs extended in front of us, Paschimottanasana as it's called in Sanskrit. I am going to have a little bend in the knees. I'm just going to put this blanket here between my thighs and my chest. Inhale, hands and arms come up, and then exhale. Fold over onto your blanket, wedge it in however you like. If you like more of a bend in the knees, less of a bend in the knees, make it comfortable for you. I'm going to grab a block actually and just give my head something to rest on. You may find as you breathe into this posture, you can push your heels further and further away from you. You'll become a little bit more flexible if you're tight at first. You can change the position of your props. Just take those 4, 5, 6 second inhales. Try to follow that up with the equal number for your exhale. And of course, now that the stomach is pressing against the thighs, you'll feel the pressure of the inhale maybe move to the lower back. Good way to use the breath to massage different areas of the body. If you need to adjust something, if something doesn't feel quite right, of course you have time to do so. We'll take a few more breaths here. Make sure you sink in, adjust your props or yourself as necessary. If you want to enhance the sensation, if you want to regress sensation, feel free to do so. After your next exhale, with a slow inhale, begin to walk the hands next to the legs up to the hips. Slowly propping yourself up. You can remove any props off to the side. Extend the legs out straight. Inhale, hands and arms come up. And then exhale, take a twist over to your left side. The right hand on the left thigh, left hand on the ground behind you, chin falling towards the back shoulder. And inhale, chin to front shoulder. And exhale, chin to back. Inhale, hands and arms come up. And exhale, pick a twist to the opposite side. Left hand, right thigh, right hand on the ground behind you. Just as a little kickstand, don't have to put too much pressure on it. And then chin falling towards the back shoulder. Inhale, chin to front shoulder. And exhale, chin to back. Inhale, hands and arms come up. And just let the hands rest beside you. Bring the legs to a cross, and then if you're able to, roll over into a table posture. If you're not able to roll over the knees like that, just make your way into a table posture. And we'll go through some very, very slow, very methodical cat-cow. So inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, lifting the tailbone. Slowly moving up the spine, lifting the chin, lifting the chest. And then exhale, moving from the pelvis. First, tuck the tailbone. And then slowly move through the spine, rounding the back, sending the back up towards the ceiling. Really pressing through the earth with the hands. Take another breath here. And then we'll move slowly into cow pose, starting from the hips, tilting the pelvis forward, and then slowly moving up the spine, shoulder blades wrapping, or shoulder blades coming together, lifting the chest and chin, extending through the crown if you're able to, dropping the belly. And on your exhale, begin to tuck the pelvis. Really tucking it all the way, rounding the back, shoulder blades wrap around the ribs, chin falls towards the chest, pressing through the earth. The toes, you can release them, shoelace side of the foot on the ground, or if you like to keep them tucked, that's okay too. Take a breath here. And then when you're ready, on your inhale, slowly begin to tilt the pelvis forward. Rest of the spine follows. Keeping the arms straight, but bringing the shoulder blades together as we lift the chest and chin, dropping the belly. And then just the opposite. We'll tuck the pelvis, following by the rest of the spine. Eventually the chin will fall towards the chest. Really send that spine up towards the ceiling. With the shoulder blades wrapping around the rib cage. To enhance this, we can come up onto our fingers. This kind of spider finger variation, almost like there's a cupcake under your hand. You can walk those fingers back towards the knees in this super cats. And then return the palms back to the ground. Tilting the pelvis forward with an inhale, dropping the belly, shoulder blades together, but arms still straight. And once you've reached your peak cow pose, to enhance it, we can bend at the elbow, And then exhale, just come back to that cat pose, tucking the pelvis, spine towards the sky. And then inhale, coming back into a neutral table posture. Next, we're going to go into a child's pose, but a supported child's pose. I like a blanket for my knees. I usually have the blanket out pretty wide like this, so my knees are able to rest on it. Grabbing a bolster here. Knees pretty wide on the mat, big toes to touch. Bring this bolster right in the middle here. And then folding over it, letting your whole torso rest on this bolster. If you're taller, have a longer torso and your head is on the front of the bolster, grab a prop like a block or something that you can rest your forehead on. For me, my torso is a little shorter, so I just like to rest the side of my head. And I'll let you know when we've about reached the halfway point. And I'll let you know when you can turn your head, that way you feel even. But again, we're just breathing, taking those long inhales, long exhales. And just feeling where the breath goes now. Now that we're resting our torso on this prop, let's feel how the breath is sent to the lower back. Maybe feel it in the middle back. If you'd like to change something, it's not too late to do so. You can change the position of your prop, maybe how wide or close your knees are. If you'd like to do something with the arms, more than welcome to. I just like resting my forearm on the ground. If you like to extend them out, you can do so. If you need, you can feel a nice side body stretch by doing that. You're just like me and just resting kind of neutral here, melting into this prop. We've about reached the halfway mark here. If you'd like to turn the other cheek, if that's what you're doing with your bolster, or on your bolster, you can do so just to even yourself out. And we'll be here for a few more breaths, so feel free to just sink in. If you're counting your breaths, just keep counting. I'll talk to you again in a small slice of time. And come back to your breath. Release whatever thought you might have had. We'll slowly begin to peel ourselves back up to a table posture. Bring the wrist under the shoulders. Slowly bring yourself up off of your props into a table posture. Remove them off to the side. Not too far away. Might need it one more time during this practice. From your table posture, go ahead and swing those legs around. Come on to your bottom. Soles of the feet on the ground, arms extended, and slowly lower yourself down onto your back. Once you're on your back, float the knees and the feet off the ground. Bring the knees together in this sort of 90 degree angle from your body. I'm going to scoot over so I have room to do this. But we're just going to fold with our arm out at T. We're going to fold our knees or twist our knees over to the side. If I can choose the right words for this. If you have room, both arms out to a T. I unfortunately don't. If you'd like to turn up this treatment, you can rest your left arm over top of the right thigh. Don't have to really crank down on it, especially if your knees don't quite touch, or if you'd like your knees to touch and we have blocks or something next to you, you can put a block in between the knee. That's if they're not touching, or if you'd like a little bit of a gap there. And we'll be here for just a few breaths, not quite as long as we have been. Really sink into this posture. This is another opportunity to feel where our breath is going now that we're in a different position. We're all twisted up here, bringing ourselves up, bringing ourselves out towards the end of this practice. After your next exhale, return your arms out to a T if they're not there already. If you'd like to keep the block between your knees, just give it a squeeze. If not, take it out now. But return your knees to center. I'm going to scoot over on my mats, scoot my hips to the left. But your knees at this 90-90, block or not, go ahead and let them fall to the opposite side. Arms out to a T. If you have the space, if your knees are together, great. If you have no block and you'd like to just rest your hand over the top thigh, you can do so just for a little bit of added stretch here. Or if you have a block, you can put that block between the legs. You can also tilt the chin over to the opposite side. Your knees are folded. Or if you'd like to keep the chin in a neutral position, you can raise the left arm overhead for a nice side body stretch if that's what you like. Modify this position how you see fit. Make it unique to you. And come back to your breath if you've lost it. Remove any props that you're using. Set them off to the side, and with an inhale, float our knees back up to center. Give yourself a nice hug, grabbing the knees, pulling them to the chest. Take a breath here, and then slowly release, grabbing the knees. Feet to the ground, extending the legs out. Bring the feet together, bring the arms overhead, and sort of like a banana, start to bend yourself over to the left. Hands go over to the left, feet go over to the left. Kind of arc your body just like a banana, as much as you're comfortable with. Take a breath here, and then come back to center, and then move yourself over to the other side. I'm going to do this where I have room. Try to keep your hips flat on the ground, just moving from your torso, from your legs, as much as a curve as you're comfortable with. A breath, feeling nice length here in the left side body, and then return to center. Bring the arms back down by the side, palms facing up. Have some space between the arm and the side body. Let the feet just fall where they may. Begin to relax the entire body as we fall into our Savasana. If you'd like to set yourself up with any props, of course you may do so. I'm actually going to grab a blanket for under my knees. And how I do that, I just roll it up like this. Place it under my knees, and then lay back down. And what this does is raise my knees up ever so slightly. It just takes pressure off my low back, and just really enhances the treatment of my Shavasana. Of course, if you like to raise them higher, you can put like a bolster under your knees or pillow, whatever you may have. Raise it up even further if that's what you're comfortable with. If you'd like to put something under the head, you may do so. Something under the arms, under the feet, whatever you like. Whatever makes you the most comfortable. We'll begin by just doing a body scan and just relaxing the whole body, starting from the toes. Recognize them, see them in your mind, and just relax. Same thing with the foot. Picture it in your mind. Maybe start to draw a line up the body, relaxing the ankles, relaxing the lower legs. Keep drawing that line up the body. If there's no prop on your knees, feel the air pass under your knee. If there is a prop, surrender the weight of your body to that prop. Keep drawing that line up the thighs, all the way to the hips. Surrender the weight of your hips to the earth. As we draw the line up the spine, past all the ribs, just relax the abdomen, relax the back. Feel your breath as you inhale. Feel it as you exhale. Continuing with that line, surrendering the weight of the shoulders. Draw that line down each arm, the upper arm, the lower arm, the palm, relaxing the hands. Feel the air pass through the fingers. Relaxing the head, the face. No more need for facial expressions. Let your eyes sink back into their orbits, the tongue into the lower palate, and imagine your brain sliding to the back of your skull. as you lie here totally and completely relaxed. Imagine yourself on a riverbank. Stream is flowing from left to right. Imagine the feeling of the sun on your face. Maybe the wind blowing through the trees. And each thought that comes up in your mind, just imagine it in a little bubble. You see it coming from upstream. You recognize it as it passes you, and then you let it go as it disappears downstream. Wherever you are, lost in thought, release that thought and return to your breath. Nice easy inhale, filling the lungs. Easy exhale, letting it go. Let's start to bring awareness back to the body. Picturing the feet, the toes, picturing the hands, the fingers. Invite some small movements back to these areas. Maybe wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers. I like to run my thumb up and down each of my fingers. Grow these movements as you roll the ankles, roll the wrists. Whatever movements you see fit for you. Eventually pointing the toes, raising the arms overhead for a very fulfilling full body stretch. Return the arms back to the side, come to stillness, and then bend one knee, placing the sole of the foot on the ground. Press off that knee, come onto the side in that fetal posture again. that recovery posture. A nice transition before we press ourselves back up to a seat. That way we don't just pick ourselves up too quickly when our nervous system hasn't caught up and we get lightheaded. We want to avoid that. When you're ready and you feel like you've caught up, you're ready to push yourself back up to a seat, go ahead and do so. If you want a prop, recruit a prop. But meet me in an easy cross-legged seated position. Collect yourself, fix your clothing. When you get here, crossing at the ankles, nice tall spine, open in the heart, hands resting on the knees, level chin. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope it left you feeling nice and relaxed. This is just what we needed after the last video that I released. It was over an hour long. That was quite an intense session. I especially needed to just chill, do a nice restorative session. It's good to work those in every once in a while. Let's take one breath together, one more breath together as we circle our arms up with an inhale, touching the palms overhead, and then bringing the hands down to heart center. Again, thank you so much for joining me. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste. I'll see you next time.